All right. Look, don't feel a lot differently this afternoon than I did, yesterday afternoon, yesterday evening. Felt like there was a number of things that we did well, and yet, we've got to find a way to make the plays at the end of the game to give ourselves an opportunity to win. You can't spot your opponent 14 points in a tightly contested game and expect to win. So there's some things that we've got to clean up. We've spent the better part of this morning trying to work on that, and then we'll turn our focus to Kansas City this afternoon. Look, we had a number of guys with bumps, bruises, whatever, throughout the course of the game. We'll continue to evaluate those guys, so I'm not really going to go into a lot of injury stuff with you guys today. I think we got to put out an injury report on Thursday, so I think that'll be the next time we'll have a lot of injury information.
Thanks. Can you explain what went into the decision to go with Lemieux at center rather than kind of given the way you had the alignment last week with Lucas Patrick there?
Well, I think it kind of gets back to, if you move Lucas inside, well, now you're moving Lucas inside. You're already making one change at guard. You'd have to make another change at guard. There's just a lot of moving parts that go along with that, and we felt like that was the best five that gave us, the best chance to have success. And it wasn't perfect yesterday, but I thought overall, it was a solid performance by our offensive line.
Have you noticed any commonalities of what's happening defensively late in the last few games?
Well, we just hadn't made the plays, played against Philly, we ran into each other, and this one we just kind of got beat. They made a good play. We didn't make the type of play that we needed to, and look, that's what these games are going to end up coming down to. When you want to be a good team, you're going to play in a lot of tightly contested games, and we've got to find ways to win those things. We've put ourselves in those positions, but we're not making the plays at the end of the day to win it, and that's what you have to do in our league.
A lot of opinions, obviously, following that game on when it should be man, when it should be zone, when it should be soft zone. What's your philosophy on how to play a game in those? I know each one is different, but I guess maybe yesterday specifically.
Yeah, the coverage that we were playing was zone coverage. All right, so there's certain times that it puts you in a little bit, a little bit more of a one-on-one type of deal. So I don't fall into the deal on should you be in man, should you be in zone, should you be in whatever. When it doesn't work out, then you should have done the opposite of what you did, and it worked. When it works out, then that's what you should have done. So, yeah, that's the way I feel about that.
Do you, in general, I know we used to talk about how you like to blitz on Hail Marys and things like that. Like, do you in general like to treat protecting lead situations similar to how you treat the other 59 minutes of the game?
Yeah, look, I don't think we played that game and didn't allow a touchdown defensively. So there was a lot of things that we did well. And so I don't think you go into the last 2 minutes and say, well, let's all that stuff that we just got through doing, let's throw all that stuff out and let's change and do something different. We're going to play, defense the way that we play defense. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think over the course of time, it's been pretty successful, but these last couple of games hadn't been as good as we need them to be.
A quarter into the season, just what are your assessments, your thoughts on being a quarter in? So,
I think we need to improve. I think we need to be better. I think we need to put ourselves in position to win games and figure out how to close them out and how to finish them. And that's what we haven't done a good enough job of doing. And so we collectively, players, coaches, everybody, we have to do a better job when we put ourselves in those situations of being able to make the right, whether it be the right call, the right play, whatever the case may be, to win in those situations.
Dennis, what did you make of the offense after Taysom went out, and was it did you see a drop off after?
Well, look, I don't think we ran the ball as well in the second half as we did, in the first half. I don't think we can totally attribute that to Taysom being in there or not in there. I think we've got to find some other guys that can make plays for us, other than Alvin, Olave, Taysom. I thought Shaheed did some good things, from an offensive perspective in the game. So, it's hard to sit here and say, when you lose a game like that there's a lot of positives, and yet when you watch the tape, there's some good things that are happening. But at the end of the day, we got to make plays to win.
People see Taysom go out and wonder if this offense has an over reliance on him. I'm guessing you feel like that's not the case.
I don't. No, I don't. I mean, I think we, still feel like we moved the ball, and we scored a touchdown to take the lead with a minute to go in the game, so I felt like there were still some things that we could do. I think that we've got to eliminate, some of the mistakes that cost us a little bit. But yeah, I wouldn't say that's the overriding factor.
What's your anticipation for how much Kendra Miller might be able to contribute to that after all the time that he's lost?
I don't know. We'll see.
Is he gonna come off IR this week?
I don't know the answer to that yet.
If I could just maybe follow up on what Mike was asking. Obviously, you talked about your defense playing so well, and then 1-2 plays the last couple of weeks get highlighted and dissected. When some of that second guessing comes from Kurt Warner and Teddy Bruschi, is that something you have to point out to the team, since those are people?
No, as a matter of fact, I have no idea who had any comments. I don't think we can pay attention to any of that stuff. I think, we know the things that we have to do to try to win games, and we haven't done it as much over the course of the last few years as we had done in the past, and yet it's the same calls, for a stretch of time that, was part of winning a lot of games. So,
Sorry, just for clarification on Kendra, don't know if he'll practice this week or just will he practice?
Yeah, I don't know that.
Last night you said you were kind of disappointed in the pass rush. That kind of hold up after the film review.
Not probably as much as it disappointed me last night. When you go back and watch the tape, there's a few more times where there's a little bit of pressure around the quarterback. Look, I thought we affected the passer. I mean, I think he was 21 of 35, whatever that percentage comes out to. No touchdown passes. They did have a couple of explosives. I don't think we played third down as well as we needed to in the first half, but they were 1 of 5 in the second half on third down. So we made some corrections there. We got better there. So can it be better? Yeah. Do we need it to be better? Yeah. But I didn't feel like it was as big a negative maybe as what I had originally thought yesterday.
When you come off a big loss like this, by the time you get to the tape, are you able to take the emotion out of it? Can you watch the tape back 24 hours later? Does it still sting, I guess? Saying that about the pass rush made me think, in the heat of the moment, obviously everything feels worse.
No, I think I was even saying this to, Mickey and Michael Parrington today, that, don't take anything that I say right now too seriously, because there's a lot of things that you say in the heat of the moment, and you're pissed off that you got beat, and you feel like 2 weeks in a row. Last week, I don't know that we played good enough to win And yet we put ourselves in a position that we had an opportunity to. This week I felt like we played good enough to win in a lot of areas and still came away with a loss, so that was frustrating. And so, yeah, you come off these things and you're a little bit emotional, and so you got to kind of give yourself a little bit of time to come to your senses a little bit, and then we move forward.
For your guys' pass rush, you guys have more sacks, but do you like the amount of pressures you're getting in general? Is that something that?
Well, I think you always want more. You always want more. I haven't done the study yet to see exactly, what the quarterback rating is and what the completion percentage is and what the pressure percentage is. I haven't really, gotten into really studying that a whole lot.
Just maybe looking ahead, and I know that we haven't gotten into the film yet, but just overarching with Reed and Mahomes and just kind of what they've been able to do and the challenges they present without kind of having gotten into their film yet.
I think they're pretty good. Yeah, look, defending Super Bowl champs, multiple Super Bowl champs. I think they're a really good team. I think they're really well coached. I think the quarterback's outstanding. They're playing good defense right now. They've always been really good in the kicking game. So, and it's tough to go into Kansas City and win. So, we got our work cut out for us, but that's the task that we've been dealt, and we got to be able to rise up to the occasion.
If I can maybe follow up, sorry, just kind of a personal question here. You talk about like knowing it's emotional sport, knowing that it's still emotional today. At some point, do you ever like lean into that and like throw the chair across the room or kick? Because you've always been so calm and even keel, handling the good and the bad. I'm just kind of curious if at some point, I know Mora did the coulda, woulda, shoulda deal and things like that. And everybody's personas are different. I was just curious if that would ever be you.
Yeah, I think if you ask the players in the locker room, there's plenty of times that they see that passion and that emotion. I may not always show it here in this environment, but yeah, I think, I don't think there's any doubt about that players feel when I'm not happy about something. Yeah.
Dennis, going back to Taysom for a second, even though, you say you're not as reliant on him since the offense isn't as dynamic, what do you think is happening when he's not in the game for the offense?
Well, I don't know. I don't feel the same way that obviously you guys feel in terms of the loss of Taysom. I certainly feel like we're affected when we don't have him, available to us, and yet I still think we have the ability to be, an effective offense. So I don't feel the same way that obviously you guys feel.
I know you're not going to put a prognosis or timetable on it yet, but did he break ribs? Did X-ray?
Yeah, I don't know the answer to that.
You don't know?
I do not.
The fact that he's had 2 injuries though, is there some durability? I don't even know how to phrase it. Are you guys worried that the way you want to involve him in the offense?
Yeah.
Versus,
I think we got to keep that in mind. And I think I've said that for the last couple of years. You're talking about a guy that's he's had some injuries in the past, and he's still an effective player. He's getting a little older, but he's still an effective player. And so I think we got to be mindful as to how many times we're running him into the briar patch.
going back to the question on the Chiefs, that might seem obvious, so forgive me, but what could a win like that, beating them, do to just help the overall mood after this one?
I think anytime you get a win in this league, I think it's big. I think it's big for your confidence. Yeah, I think we're a team that needs to play well, and I think we're a team that needs to win, and it's certainly going to be a challenge going into Kansas City and having to play that team. I think they're, I mean, it goes without saying. I mean, I think they're, a really good football team. Okay, guys, thanks.